Seen our camera crew, haven't we, being made up and everything, and our floor manager, so we'll get them sorted out later. But you haven't seen everyone behind the scenes. We want to nip into our director's gallery right now and have a look what's going on in there. So, if our cameraman Wilf is all ready to do it, there they are. And look, even the director wears a Luton shirt. My goodness. Oh. Is this necessary?
And shorts too. Sit down.
Thank you. That's Phil, our director, and friends.
When he says that, that means that's enough of that. Get back to the real thing.
You noticed he was very shiny on the top, wasn't he?
He was. Isn't he made up? He usually is.
Well, that's a little unfair, Will, coming from you.
Just a bit of humour. What do you mean?
Now, it's been a family affair all morning. All our experts are back right now to take your calls. We're going to start off with a medical one from Sheila in Bristol. Hello, Sheila.
Oh, good morning, Nick.
Good morning,
everybody.
Hi.
Hello. Can I just ask Mark, I suffer from prickly heat while on holiday, and wonder if there's anything I can buy, either to put on to prevent it, or to stop it looking so awful when I get it.
This is a world exclusive. I suffer from prickly heat too, and I've had it for 31 odd years.
Do you? That's terrible.
And I think I found a cure last year. For the first time, I didn't have it. And basically, prickly heat, it covers a whole, it's an itchy rash you get in the sun.
Yes.
It's actually caused by, we think now, the UVA part of the sunlight that comes down to you. Now, the importance about that is that all the sunscreens that you put on, up until very recently, contained no UVB factors. So, you know, you were putting the suntan lotion actually made it worse because it meant you spent more time in the sun and got more of the UVA. The same thing happens, it gets you underwater, and UVA can come through glass and get you in the car as well. So all I can say is you get a sunscreen that contains a high level of UVA, and with a new rating on the back, your pharmacist or the shop that's selling it should be able to advise you on that.
Hope it works,
Last year was the first year I didn't have it at all, so good luck.
Thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
Have a lovely summer, all of you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks very much. Just before we move on to our next call, we've got a very interesting picture of you, Mark, I think, which we could just have a look at right now.
Oh. Is that a barbecue?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
I wouldn't want this programme to be thought tacky.
I know who took that, and I know who owns it, and I shall be seeing them after the programme.
Just explain what the situation was. Well, within reason.
Yeah, that was on the RAC rally a year ago in a campsite, and I saw the loo and I couldn't resist it.
Yeah, I shouldn't think it goes very fast,
I'm
does
not
it,
actually on the loo properly, I hasten to add.
You're still a medical student at heart, aren't you?
What?
I said you're still a medical student at heart, aren't you? Hasn't grown up, in other words.
Let's head for South Wales now. Jackie in Cardiff. Hello, Jackie.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello. Can you hear Jake in the background?
A little bit, yeah.
Anyway, who would you like to speak to?
To Deirdre, please.
To Deirdre. What would you like to ask her?
Well, I have a 4-year-old daughter. She's starting to get very bad temper tantrums with me. If she doesn't get her own way, she'll start kicking me, punching me, screaming how much she hates me. She goes to nursery in the afternoons where she's very well behaved, no trouble at all. School holidays are coming up, and I'm really wondering how I can handle it, because it's really it's getting to be a real problem at the moment.
Did she go through the norm? Because normally it's the terrible twos they talk about when kids have usually massive tantrums. Did she have tantrums then?
No, she didn't. It's only in the last couple of months.
Right, so it almost sounds as if she's got like a bit of a delayed reaction here. She's sort of going through that very important developmental stage, but late on. The thing about temper tantrums is it's quite frightening for the child, you know, because they feel absolutely overwhelmed by all this anger. And what's quite important is that you don't get sucked into that feeling, that you remember that you are a grown-up, that the situation is all right, and that no matter what she says, does, or how she behaves, you're not going to be swayed by it, because it's very important not to give them the feeling that the more fuss they make, they will in the end get their own way, because then you really are encouraging them to keep on behaving like that. So it really is a question of sort of 10 deep breaths if necessary. Try, and if she's really throwing a great wobbly like that, make sure, because she's physically set. Does she throw herself around the place?
Not always, but she can do, yes. Like she'll fall down and...
Make sure you're away from anything like, you know, glasses, anything breakable. Make sure she can't hit her head on something. Try and hold her if you can to keep her safe, and just say, look, just calm down, we're going to sort this out sensibly, and then, if necessary, walk away from it, let her get the tantrum out, and then come back and deal with it, but stick to your own line about what you think's right and wrong.
Deirdre, thanks. Thanks for your call, Jackie.
OK, bye.
Bye.
Miss you all.
Oh, bless you, thanks. We'll be back in the autumn.
OK, bye-bye.
Bye.
It's a famous line from a film, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, Kerry, I think, is next in Surrey. Hello, Kerry.
Hi.
Hello, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hello, I've got a question for Mark Evans, please.
Right,
Hello.
we've all got a question for Mark Evans. We'll have yours first.
Right, we've just recently moved to a house about 6 months ago, and we've got a 2-year-old cat who, to my mind, has never been in a fight before. Now, at the moment, he's having a fight nearly every day. He's coming home in a bit of a mess,
Looking a bit tatty around the ears. And
yes, exactly.
Flea bitten, yes.
And I can't stop them from fighting, basically.
Right, OK. Important thing is that cats timeshare. It's like, you know, when you go to Spain and you have that timeshare and you share an apartment for a little time of the year and somebody else comes and moves in afterwards. That's what happens with gardens, that cats actually timeshare them. And the boss cat in the area, and it might be over like a square mile of back gardens, has the best time of day, which is like hunting time, which is dawn and dusk. Then the next most dominant cat has the next period, and they just timeshare. Now, if they cross paths, a very dominant cat and a lower-ranking cat, in the middle of the day, they won't fight. But if it's near the prime time, they will fight. And the easiest way to stop cats fighting when you move into a new area is to make sure they don't go out at peak periods. So dawn and dusk, definitely keep them in at night.
Right.
OK, thanks, Mark.
Thanks so much for your help, then.
Pleasure.
Bye, Kerry.
Bye, Kerry.
Bye.
Bye. And now we've got Sue from Norwich. Sue, hi.
Hello.
You've got
Hi,
a question
everybody.
You've got a question for Will, have you?
Yes, I have.
Gosh.
I've just been reading in the
Good luck.
Thank you, Anne.
about baby walkers. I've just got a 2-month-old daughter, Samantha, and I'm worried that, you know, if I'm going to put her in a baby walker, that she might do herself an injury. I mean, I know that a lot of people do, and that, you know, it's a good way to.
Well, you may have read about a paediatrician yesterday, Sue, called Dr. Michael Reeder, who was actually speaking at a conference in London, who was talking about the dangers of baby walkers. I've got one here, actually. I'll leap down because this is the sort of baby walker that we're all talking about. Now, he, in fact, has claimed that 436 accidents happened last year when babies in these fell down the stairs. Other accidents happened when the babies in these baby walkers banged into a table, a cup was here, and fell. And still more accidents happen when the baby in this baby walker will hit into furniture and will actually cut him or herself. So, clearly, there are dangerous problems with baby walkers.
Yeah, but
look,
you don't take your eyes off your child. Even
well,
when
you
he's in
can't
one,
keep
do you?
your eyes on the child all the time. I mean, that's his point, I suppose.
It only takes a split second.
It does.
They're
Now,
off
on
down
this
some
particular
steps.
baby walker, well, you know, this is just a normal one, and most of them have got these. There's a list of dangers that can be confronted. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, there they are.
Yeah, you can.
Which includes the stairs. Don't let them go near cookers and anything with work surfaces with drinks on and things like that. So that, you know, there is a warning about them. But you know, and Dr. Reeder also, Miss Dr. Reeder actually also said that they don't actually help make your baby walk any faster either. So what's the point of using them?
Because they love them.
Well, they do love them. My tip is, I mean, look, they can be dangerous, but if you're in a big room, if you have a big room, or in the garden, for example, where there may not be any dangers, yes, but in a small room at the top of a flight of stairs, obviously you wouldn't necessarily use them, would you? So that's my tip on that one. I hope that helps.
OK, Will, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Will.
Thanks, Sue. Nice to talk to you.
All right,
Bye-bye. Bye. Peter from London. Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Hi.
I'd just like to say, Anne and Nick, I think you're great, and I'm really sad that you've got to go over the summer.
Oh.
That's kind of you.
And I've got a question for Larry.
And the check's in the post, Peter.
I'm into alternative rock, and I'm quite scruffy, everyone tells me, and I'm getting married to my fiancée on June the 18th. And,
So she doesn't think looks are important then, obviously.
well, I didn't say
No, that's not bad. Go on,
No, it's just her mum, my mother-in-law-to-be, is like, wants me to get my hair cut and wear a suit, and I want to come to a compromise where it's, you know, I'm not sort of wearing something that I'd never wear, but I want to look smart and not fall out with my new family, really.
Well, I think you do have an option. If you really are desperate to do your own thing, then you run away and get married on the back of a Harley Davidson. The fact is, if you're going to get married with your families there, you don't want to punch up at the wedding. You really are, to a certain extent, going to have to compromise. What I would suggest, really, is why not do 2 outfits? Do the suit that will please your parents and things at the register office, for instance, and then when you get to the reception, you can change into something you would like, and then you can have 2 sets of pictures. And if you hate the look of yourself in that suit, don't have those pictures, just give them to your parents, and you keep the ones that you like.
Right, I mean, have you got something that would be, I don't know, an idea that would be sort of, like, I could wear that would be like a cross between the two, because, you know, I just wear normally, like, I've got a leather jacket, and I've got long hair, and I just wear jeans. And obviously I don't want to wear that, but I don't want to wear a morning suit because I don't want to look at my photos and say, oh, that doesn't look like me at all.
In one sentence, if you can, Larry. Put your heavy metal T-shirt on underneath your shirt and then just unbutton a couple of buttons, quick few pictures, and then button it back up again. That's all I can say, I'm afraid.
But whatever you do, don't fall out with your mother-in-law, for goodness sake. Do exactly what your mother-in-law says.
Peter, good luck with it. Anyway.
All right, thanks so much. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for your call. Bye-bye.
God, that was a difficult one, wasn't it?
Well, it's, now, Margaret from Sussex. Hello, Margaret.
Hello.
Hello. Who do you want to speak to?
Well, first of all, this is one of your addicts, and I really don't know how we're going to get a fix for 4 months.
No. Oh, right.
Yeah, this is really terrible. Anyway, I want to speak to Stefan.
Ah, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What can I do for you?
Well, I've got a problem with snails.
Oh, dear.
Yes, I love
You
eating
don't like the
them.
taste of them?
Well, I used to eat them, but the thing is, they're eating all my greenery up my walls.
Right.
They came last year and really attacked all the Virginia creeper and other things, and obviously disappeared over the winter, and they started again.
Yes, well, they do. They come back every year. What are you doing to control them at the moment?
Well, throwing them by bucket loads over the wall, because I don't like to think I'm going to kill them.
Somebody else's garden.
Is it somebody else's garden or a field?
No, it's an open... there is a sort of a lawn there, and I think I've sort of visualised these snails sort of, after I've thrown them on there, sort of coming in platoons across the field back to the wall again.
Well,
because 3 days later I go...
I don't think the same ones will come back. If you go out at night with a torch, you'll realise just how many snails there are in the world.
I haven't got any open ground because I've got a very small garden.
Look,
and I've sort of filled it in with sort of everything else. I get about 20 or 30 each
Hang
time.
on, I'm going to help you in a minute. Go out at night with a torch and you'll see snails by the 100. Put them into a bucket, even if you get a bucket full. Take them a little bit further than the other side of the wall, tip them into a field. Those same ones won't come back again, I promise you. You may get another bucket full the next night, but at least you won't be killing them. You'll be putting them out to feed on some natural vegetation and not on your garden.
But there's no other way of getting rid of them?
No, there isn't really. They're much better than slugs there, because snails have a handle.
We'll have to leave it.
Don't worry, the neighbours won't think you're strange, because they're all watching as well, and they'll take them down that tip.
Margaret, thanks very much for your call. I remember once that I was at home one night and there was a knock on the door, and I opened the door and there was a snail at the door. And they said, give us something to eat or drink, Gov. And I said, you know, get stuffed, kicked it down the garden. And 6 months later there was a knock on the door and I opened it and there was a snail again. He said, what'd you do that for? Anyway, we've got to leave it there. Thanks all very much indeed. And now, this is a poignant moment, but I don't want you to get upset about it. But this is the time for the final episode in our Touch of Love series.
So Imelda Staunton takes up the story of the prisoner for the very last time.